Good evening everyone. Welcome to the Deathwatch Gaming Outfit site tutorial. In this tutorial, we will be giving you some basic information about the site, some maneuvers you can pull off, and how to conduct yourself in an air raid. We will be also sharing some information about survival tactics and finding safe spots. You can at any time use these time tags to reach any subject you like. Enjoy. Site comes with 5 weapon options. These are categorized by primary and secondary weapons. Primary weapons are Sauron Laser, Hellstorm, and Light PPA. The definition of these ones are basically that Sauron Laser is used in just about anything. It comes as default and has a nice magazine size and a fire rate, and it's rather very accurate. Hellstorm is a fast firing weapon with short magazine size. If you are trying to take down enemy fighters with it, you have to reload at least once. And Light PPA is an explosive weapon. Basically, it has a small explosive radius, and I hear it's good for taking out infantry. And secondary weapons are dual photon pods and air-to-air missiles. Air-to-air missiles come with a single-shot reload system that you have to reload every time you shoot, and you cannot shoot without getting luck. You carry around 9 rockets, if I recall correctly, but this can be changed by certificates. Photon pods are 14-shot rocket pods that are rather accurate in long range. You can take out tanks and infantry with it, along with air vehicles, while the air-to-air missiles can only take out air targets. Site certificates are basically, if I have to go through, the passive system is a timer. Once you fully upgrade it, it gives you 5-minute cooldown. Utility is where you can certain decoys and mostly semi-defensive systems. Scout radar is good for when you are dogfighting and you want to know where the enemy is. It's often used for hit and run operations or provide intel for the ground targets. It has a maximum of 200 meters, which is almost about in the size of your minimap. Decoy flares are flares that you pop up to avoid lock-on missiles. It's best to use the decoy flares after a missile has been fired onto you. This will force the enemy to reload and give you more time to get away from the position. At maximum, you can get this down to 25 seconds, which is not enough to use it between 2 rocket shots. So you don't have the option to stay there if you don't want to get hit at all. Ejection system is much like galaxy exiting. It makes you invulnerable upon to ground impacts once you exit your vehicle. It's mostly used for trying to survive once you bail out. Fire suppression system is when your site is on fire, and that's basically your red cog is showing. Once you activate this, it gives you a set number of hit points back, stopping the ongoing fire and making sure that you don't have any performance loss. The site, when in performance loss, is still flyable, and you can still make quite a distance with it. That is without hitting the ground. You can pull up and continue flying. You can do the same with Lip, but not much so with the Galaxy. So defensive slots are mostly composed of anti-flak, passive repairs, and anti-lock-on missiles and anti-intel, basically. So composite armor decreases the incoming fire from flaks and small arms, while passive repair is just after effects, which is going to be kicking in a couple of seconds after you take a damage, meaning that once you're out of combat, the passive repair system will repair your Scythe. The reason you can use this without that, you can use this instead of the ejection system. I often fly as engineer when I'm flying a Scythe, so this gives me the option to land and repair if needed. Vehicle stealth is good for delaying the lock-on timers. You can delay it by 1 second. If you are a low flyer, you are going to find this very useful, and having not been showing up in the minimap is just a more tactical cookie than anything else. So performance is, there's much debate on whether to use dogfighting or hover stability for dogfighting. Depends entirely on your fly style. If you are a reverse flyer and you use hover much during your combats, you would probably best be using hover stability for dogfighting. While dogfighting frame is good for making your Scythe turn faster, it also makes sometimes the aiming much more difficult because now your Scythe is more sensitive to movements. Speed race, racer high speed airframe is it's what I use, but it's not out of combat reasons. It just increases your speed and it increases the effectiveness of your afterburner. So Sauron laser comes with default set of attachments, just as same as the Hailstorm and light PPA. These are all coming in the same option system. So if you are flying air, I would recommend using infrared optics, at least in one of your weapons. This will help you find infantry and tanks much more fluently. If you have to choose between magazine size and reload speed, I would recommend going for the magazine size, because that means you can shoot longer, while reload speed means that you can reload faster. So what this will help you is that when you are in a combat, you can use the reload time to recover while you can stay in combat, offensive combat, for longer. So let's say that you are facing a tank and you are shooting it. You often have the time to spend all your magazine, but often not enough to wait there to reload. So that's basically it. Allows you to make more damage per strike. Same goes for the light PPA. You have the option to increase your ammo, zoom optics, infrared, thermal. Thermal is good for infantry, finding out infantry. You can also pick up turrets and tanks, but night vision is just more comfortable when it comes down to it. So those funnel pods do not have the magazine size as option. However, they do have the other options. And the difference between the dual pod and AA is that you have extra weapon utilities like lock-on range and lock-on timer. I would recommend you to search into lock-on time, given that will make you shoot faster, because you lock on faster. That means you shoot sooner, and that means you get to reload sooner. So also this lock-on time makes it more easier for giving enemy less time to adjust to their position. Well, if you are not interested in using a second weapon, what you will get as default is the fuel pods. These will increase the amount of fuel you carry by 80%, giving you more time to use for afterburner. When you are flying a Scythe, you will notice that unlike Liberator and Galaxy, you will not be standing still when you release controls when you are hovering. So this means that you have to sometimes give your lateral thrusters a little boost to keep your altitude stable. One trick you can employ is that while flying a Scythe is the reverse maneuver, which is rather well known by now. So how you do this is you by default keys you press space. This will make you go up, but while you are going up, if you give afterburner, you will go up faster. So this means that the afterburner is moving you up rather than forward. If you do it on a set altitude, afterburner will move you forward. But if you are slow enough, the afterburner will kick in for the changing your altitude. So it's rather vertical, rather horizontal. You can use this in conjunction with physics. Like if you have your sight on sideways, you can use the booster to move sideways. This is good for circling around towers and finding enemies to shoot. For instance, if that building is full of enemies, if I want to get a better angle on it, I just flip my sight a little, give a little booster to go to the other side faster. Like that. It will come in handy, but during a dogfight, well, you can use this maneuver. There is another maneuver you can easily employ. While doing the same maneuver, you keep it on and you move your sights nose down. So how it will look like without the boost is this. So I have the flares very close to my view change key. I sometimes accidentally press it. Okay, so how to reverse flight is basically doing this maneuver while you are making yourself move left and right while using boost. So you can do this by going up, so you have an angle on where the enemy is on the ground, or if you have the enemy's sight, if you lose them visually, you can go up and try to find them. How you can use this in reverse flight completely is that you have to combine this with your sideway movements, so it will basically come around like this. So this gives you the easy option to see where the enemy is and like get your distance while you are still aiming at them. You can shoot while doing this, but eventually what comes down to is that they will lose your sight and you get the drop on them. Unfortunately, you have to slow down in order to do this. One easy way of slowing down is directly making this kind of turn maneuver. Because the game has physics engine in it, the turn will give you a small stall. You can also do this vertically, like this. This will bring your speed, as you can see, down. Once you're while on the other ESFs, you can see the thrusters flipping. On ESF in the Scythe, however, you have to get more of a feel for it. So let's say that you are damaged and you are looking for a place to repair. Now the best place to do this is of course the warp gate, but if you are far away from your warp gate, you may want to find more secluded places instead of towers also, because sometimes enemy heavy assaults can camp the tower, and making it a good place for them to destroy your site as you're repairing it. So possible places to do this comfortably is out of sight areas, like find a secluded place, land there and repair your site, like between buildings and where enemy fighters can have also hard time pinning your position. so you can easily land and repair. While you are out of the site, you will have 5 minutes to get back to it. If you are getting if you get killed by a sniper, that's entirely your fault. While you are repairing, it's always recommended to move left and right, even when you are thinking that you are in a safe place. However, if you are in need of ammo, best places to go is again the warp gate, but if you are far away, you can use an ammo sander to replenish your ammo. But second best place to do this is also landing pads. Now, if you are only there to get resupplied, I wouldn't recommend you going above the tower. It makes it easier for heavies to shoot you if they are camping the tower from up. Unfortunately, it makes them even easier to shoot you if you are camping below. But enemy ESFs will have a harder time to see you if you are resupplying from below the landing pads. Also, this will protect you from the incoming drop pods, making the landing pad as your shield from them. So, let's say that you are in a large air group. What you want to do is, when you are landing for repairs, is always use the same altitude, almost same altitude as the landing pads, as your income vector. You come and always land on an anti-clockwise direction, so that when you get out towards the middle, and you leave quite an area for other fighters to land, libs and galaxies. Once you are done repairing, you are recommended to use slow movements to go directly up and then forward. If you are hearing enemy ESF or lib coming in, and if you don't know their location, but the voice is continuously coming up, do not try to escape by fast booster movements. This is the worst thing you can do if you don't know their location, because it's more likely that they know your location, and by making sudden movements you are only risking both of you. So always come at same level, leave high. If possible, if you are comfortable, use the third person view to give yourself a better angle. While camping the spawn rooms, always keep yourself moving. They will be far from the shielded areas, unguided rockets. You want to continuously move to avoid getting hit by them. Of course, the best thing to do would be not standing there unless the enemy is just getting out and at random. Okay, so as you can imagine, I'm going a little bit more advanced at times. So let's say that you want to perform some stunts, like flying upside down. When you do this, by default the control becomes your new up key, and the space becomes your new down key, like this. And also, if you are using inverted mouse, it becomes non-inverted and just other way around. And also clockwise and so on are still the same. So how this differs from a regular flight is that if you stop, you will immediately start losing your altitude. You cannot stop it. You can recover from this by starting to move forward. After a certain speed, you will stop falling and start being able to gain altitude. However, you can keep your altitude stable by slower speeds. You just have to angle yourself upwards. As you can see here, I'm moving rather very slowly and upside down. You can use places like the tech plant and M stations as emergency refuge areas for repairing. you just go in there. The shielded area will partially cover you, unless there's also enemies inside. You can repair your Scythe easily and move on once you are done. In order to avoid comfortably flying inside these closed areas, you have to tilt your Scythe forward, your nose down, give a little bit of thrust, so that as much as that you don't hit the ceiling, and you will have a forward movement. There are other areas that you can hide to repair your Scythe if the area is very hot. For instance, the garage is a good place to hide. You can just come in here and start repairing. The enemy Scythes will less likely to hunt you down here. They don't expect you to be inside the tower hangar. And one thing to pay attention is that if your friendlies spawn something, you might not want to be on the top of the vehicle pads. If you're getting locked down, the places you can use to avoid the lock is, for instance, bridges. The ceilings of the bridges will break the locks, along with using obstacles to prevent the enemy from locking on to you. Just to break their line of sight so that they will lose the ongoing lock attempt. I'm now gonna demonstrate how to use these techniques on a combat scenario. As you can see, I'm getting locked on. So I will use this terrain to stay alive as long as possible. As you can see, the trees are breaking the lock, so that it's giving them a hard time to get a lock onto me. I hope this tutorial was rather educational and helped you out in the field. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. I will try to answer all of your questions. Once again, thank you for watching. If you want to know more about Deadwatch Gaming, feel free to look at the description to our link, and fly safe.